What's up guys, Shawnthebro here, and we're back for another episode of the fighting game tutorial series. In today's episode we are going to continue going over projectiles in our game. The recent episodes in the series have been dedicated to improving the entire structure, architecture, speed, really the whole scalability of our game. And this is important because we're also working on things like AI and rollback netcode, and these major features really benefit when the rest of our game is looking good. So recently we've been cleaning all that up. And there is one more episode that I have planned for projectiles, which is what we're going to be covering today. I want to get rid of some of the assumptions that we made for projectiles, that way it is easier to create new ones and they can be more dynamic. And I want to fix up some bugs with projectiles as well. If you want to get caught up in the entire series and check out how we've done things like searching for multiplayer games, hitboxes, throws, and a whole lot more, I'll link you to the entire fighting game tutorial series playlist right here in the top right corner so you can get caught up with that. If you only care about projectiles, either improving your projectiles or just making projectiles in the first place, you don't need to follow along with the whole series to do that. However, I do recommend that you watch the previous episodes of the projectiles to follow along with this episode, as we're going to be building on top of that system today. Thank you to the first episode of projectiles in the fighting game right here in the top right corner. With that out of the way, we can go ahead and get started. This is a code and blueprint tutorial series. We're going to be working in both the blueprints and the code today. Let's start out by going to our default projectile BP, which is in blueprints, functional BPs, projectiles. This is our base blueprint class for projectiles. First of all, we have default values in here for the velocity of the projectile and the collision effect of the projectile. Now, the collision effect was something that we did on purpose. That way different projectiles could have and utilize this effect without assigning it. But honestly, I don't think that's really what we should do, because as we're going to get more specific with our projectiles, they should all have their own behavior. And at this point, I don't want a default effect. Let's go to our other projectiles: projectile homing, projectile horizontal, projectile spear, and projectile up from ground. If they don't have a collision effect right now, that's perfectly fine, but if they do, like how the spear has P, KY hit 1, and proj horizontal uses the one from the default projectile BP, and the homing also uses the P, KY hit 1, then we have to be careful about what we're doing here because we don't want to lose that behavior. But I want to go to default projectile BP and use the arrow to reset that property to default. That way this base projectile BP doesn't have a collision effect. When we compile and save this though, we want to make sure that it doesn't override the behavior in the children projectiles, so make sure to compile and save all of them. The projectile horizontal was relying on that default value set in default projectile BP, so we need to make sure that we get it again right here, PKY explosion. That way we don't lose that behavior. Compile and save. Proj spear was set differently, and up from ground was empty already, but compile and save it. Great, that's a small thing, but I think that's an improvement. The other one here is the velocity. But the thing I want to fix here is what I was showing you earlier with the spear. The velocity here is on the y-axis. If we go to the horizontal projectile, which is our fireball, we see the velocity is -1000 on the x-axis, 0 on the y-axis, 0 on the z-axis. If we go to the viewport here, we see this is our fireball, and if we click on our static mesh for it, we see our location and rotation are all zeros, and same with the particle system. So what this means is we can follow these axes to determine the direction. X is red right here, and X seems to be the horizontal direction from the way we're looking at this. That means if we go back to class defaults and look at the velocity, this direction could make sense. -1000 could be the direction we want to fire this projectile from. When we look at our world, the y-axis looks like the horizontal axis by default. We know that this is the case because if we go to our fighter template character.cpp and scroll down to our tick function, we have logic in here about flipping the characters, and this happens based on if the characters are on the left or right side of each other. You'll notice that we check the actors' Y locations. We figured out why all this is. This isn't new to us, but I figured I would just show this again. We know that the y-axis is the horizontal axis for our game. And that means that the velocity we should be applying is on the y-axis. However, this velocity is applied in local space, not world space. What that means is it uses this coordinate system to determine our velocity, our movement. And in this case, the velocity is on the x-axis, so that makes sense at this point. We also know this is true because if we look at initialize projectile for this fireball, we see that we determine what direction the character is facing and then call set velocity in local space. Then we set the actor rotation based off of this. Let's do a quick experiment. if we don't set the actor rotation and we just set velocity in local space. Let's play the game and launch a fireball. So here's my fireball. That looked pretty good. Let's jump over here and fire another fireball. That also looked pretty good. We can go one step further by going into practice mode. We can see the hitboxes, and we should be able to see the projectile hitbox here. Does everything work the same regardless of direction? And the answer is yes, it does. So outside of visual effects, if we need the rotation to occur to rotate the actor correctly, this is actually fine. If you do need this rotation to occur, then you can leave it. I want to eliminate anything we don't need that could cause issues, and this is one source of that. I can show you exactly what that would do. If we go to our static mesh, for example, rotate this 180 on the yaw, or the Z. It did rotate it, but I don't necessarily care. Again, if I cared, if I had a specific effect in mind or a specific mesh in mind, this could be a problem. So this is perfectly fine. But if we look at our projectile spear now and go to our viewport here, you'll see that we have this girder looking thing. This is supposed to be our spear. If the static mesh is now rotated 180 degrees, this will actually fundamentally change how the spear looks. So if we are going to make a change like this and remove something like this, we need to be careful about children classes, and the spear is a child of projectile horizontal. With that disabled, let's try and launch a spear. From the left side, it does not launch correctly. And from the right side, it also won't launch correctly, despite the fact that our fireballs do. So some of the issues that I was mentioning were all over the place in the projectiles. In the last episode of upgrading projectiles involved this specific thing. We shouldn't be relying on setting the actor rotation after initializing. We should just set the actor rotation to the direction that we want on the object itself. We can still rotate the projectile when it's spawned to match the direction. And in this case, I'm going to assume that the projectile should match the standard of the character facing right in a 2 and 2.5D fighter, meaning the character on the left. That way we can simply apply a rotation to our projectile based on the direction they're facing, and it will always be accurate. We don't have to guess. If that doesn't make sense, don't worry, it should when we try it out here. So let's go to projectile spear. You'll notice that I mentioned that in the fireball, the x-axis was the horizontal direction in local space. This is also true for the spear, but I think you see the problem right here. If this is the x-axis, then why is the spear, or the girder, oriented as if it's moving on the y-axis? Shouldn't this really be going along the x-axis? Yes, it should. So we should rotate our static mesh here, and if we have a particle system for it, we could rotate that as well if we need to. And now in this case, our projectile spear will have a rotation of yaw, or the z-axis, by 90 degrees. It technically does what we want as it orients it the right way, but let's see if it's positioned the right way still. Let's go ahead and launch this and try it again. Now to launch the spear, you'll see that wasn't really oriented properly. It did appear the correct direction, but it was not where the hitbox was. The hitbox was in front of it. The hitbox doesn't even hit the player, and it looks like the projectile is behind the character. Let's look at what we do on our anim BP to spawn this projectile. If we go to our animation blueprints and go to the mutant that can spawn this, then go over to where our spawn spear is, you'll see that the spawn actor projectile spear passes in the player's transform, the character transform, when spawning this. And then if we go to create projectile hitbox, we get the transform of the projectile itself, the location, rotation, and scale with the offset passed in to create projectile hitbox, and then spawn the hitbox at that transform. This transform is something that we set up manually. This is an arbitrary process, an arbitrary value, based on how we want the game to feel. If we go to our blueprints, library BPs, and go to mutant hitbox data, we can go to our spear attack, which is right here. Get over here, hitbox 1. You'll see that we have a location of -300. With our spear being that 90 degrees on the yaw and facing this way, now -300 is moving that hitbox this way, forward, toward the camera, and that's putting the hitbox not in a good spot to hit the opponent. So if we go back to mutant hitbox data now and remove this -300 from the x-axis, and instead put it on the y-axis here, we want to move it horizontally. Let's put negative 300 on here again. I know we changed this last episode, but we're changing it again because now we're making it the right way. We spawn our spear. Now the projectile hits. And the direction almost was correct. It was the opposite direction of what we really wanted. Due to our change from the rotation, the negative 300 put the hitbox at the wrong side of the projectile. We technically wanted it at the front of the projectile. There's two ways to go about this. We could change the rotation on the yaw to 270, which is 180 degrees off of the value that we just had, which places the spear facing to the right. And I believe this is the choice that I'm going to go with because this is what I would expect to see if I was looking at the character's moveset from the left side of the screen. The spear would be coming to the right. When we do this though, the location can't be negative 300 anymore. It has to be positive 300 because we completely flipped what we were doing. The other solution would have been to just set the location to 0 or maybe 300 or some other value that looks right for that rotation, but I believe this is the right solution for our game. This should appear where we want it to. So if we use the spear, now it looks perfect. That's exactly what I want. However, the direction is still wrong after it tries to reel in the character. Now we can go back to projectile spear, and what happens is once we collide with the projectile, once the spear hits the character, we say that we're going to reel in the character, and we're going to do this by multiplying velocity by -1 and setting the velocity in local space. However, this isn't really what we want to do anymore. This velocity that we have here is a variable that we set on the default projectile BP. And its default value is just 800. But I want to change this. I want to make this 0. That way we choose the velocity for each projectile. We can still leave this as a blueprint variable for now, but I want to make sure that we set all of the other projectiles specifically. So homing was 550 on the Z. Horizontal was using -1000 on the X, that's fine. Projectile spear was using -800 on the X, that is fine. And the projectile up from ground was using zeros for everything, so that's fine. Now we don't have a default value for this that we have to constantly be overriding, it's just 0. That behavior we changed earlier about the velocity variable on the default projectile BP is important because if you'll notice in the prods horizontal, or again our fireball, if the character is facing right, which means they're on the left, they're multiplying that velocity by -1 and then setting the velocity in local space. If they're not facing right, then they're just using the velocity and setting the velocity in local space. The spear calls parent initialized projectile, which is the fireball's initialized projectile, which has this logic here. Then we're stopping the movement when we collide with the character. This is when we've speared them. So at this point, the projectile movement component doesn't have velocity anymore. Then we proceed to use the velocity again to set the velocity on the projectile movement component. This is the problem. We don't have a velocity that we can just multiply it by -1 again and it will be good. It depends on our direction. For this, we really could just do the same logic that we did again in initialized projectile, but the opposite. Since this is a projectile that's going out, we want one that's coming in. I think a pretty easy and clean solution is to just copy this behavior. Get owner, cast it to a fighter template character, check if they're facing right. If they are, set velocity in local space. If they're not, we're going to do velocity times -1, set velocity in local space. So now we're going to get owner. After we spear the character and we're ready to reel them in, get owner, cast it to a fighter template character. If this works, we're going to determine if that character is facing right. But this time, if they are facing right, then projectile movement is going to set velocity in local space on velocity. Otherwise, they're going to set velocity on local space, multiply, change this vector to a scalar, to a float, multiply it by -1, and pass this in. Now we are tracking our character's direction to determine what direction to reel in the character. Launch the game again, launch practice mode. Now I want to try and reel in my character. This part looks good, and you see that I reel them in successfully. Beautiful. If I turn around, will it work? It did work in the sense that the directions were correct, but the hitbox was off. And that's because of our proj horizontal behavior where we weren't setting the actor rotation anymore. We could re-enable them, and then we could come into the spear projectile and determine the correct orientation, which would be 180 degrees added to this 270, which is just 90. And that would work, and then we could set this in the initialized projectile to the spear. That's perfectly fine. I'm actually going to take a different approach, mainly because we do support 2 and 2.5D as well as 3D fighters in this tutorial series. So I'm going to remove the set actor rotations in the proj horizontal, and instead I'm going to go to initialize projectile, grab my projectile movement component, and utilize something called rotation follows velocity. Now, it's a bit overkill for most of our horizontal projectiles, as it does check the rotation every frame to see if the velocity changed. I have a slightly better way to handle this that's more efficient, but we're going to get into that as we continue working on projectiles. So for now, I'm just going to do this, which covers all of our bases. And we'll optimize this very easily just by removing 2 nodes in the future. However, when we do this, we should make sure that our projectile spear no longer takes into account the direction the character is facing, and instead just disables the rotation follows velocity once we've connected with our opponent. Where we're calling stop movement immediately, just set rotation follows velocity to false. That means that we no longer need to set the velocity based on the direction the character is facing, and we don't even need to determine if we should use velocity times -1 or just velocity, because rotation is following the velocity, so we just want to use velocity. When reeling in the character, all we need to do is use velocity and set velocity in local space. If you are to run this again and test it out, everything will be working as expected. Load it up. Let's try the left side. Looking great. Let's try the right side. Perfect. There we go. That's exactly what we want. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode on projectiles, cleaning them up, making them more scalable, improving their performance, and a lot more in your fighting game tutorial series. If you did and you want to support the channel and stay up to date with the new episodes that are coming out, please subscribe. It benefits the channel greatly, and I appreciate you very much. I also want to give a huge shout out to the YouTube membership, Patreon members, and Discord subscribers. Thank you so much for all of that. I'm so glad you're enjoying this series. If you run into any problems following this tutorial or any of my tutorials, feel free to join the Discord community. The support there is completely free, and I would be happy to help you out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Shawnthebro, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, guys.